Hello from Epcot.
We are back for the next to the last day of Festival of the Arts. It's the last day for us because today is Sunday, so we can't come tomorrow.
No, we can't, but don't feel sad about the Festival of the Arts closing. Another couple of weeks, it'll be time for
Flower and Garden opens on the 3rd, so not quite 2 weeks away from the close of the Festival of the Arts. Crazy Epcot festivals.
You can't have Epcot without a festival, almost.
Yeah, just June, July, and August. Those are the only times. And actually, Flower and Garden goes into a little bit of June some years. And Food and Wine starts in August many years. So July is about it for no festivals at all.
And it's very hot during July. We're going to try to eat a lot of things that we haven't eaten yet because they're going away and they'll be replaced by new Flower and Garden goodies. So we'll see what those are like in a couple of weeks. So, we're excited. Are you excited? Let's go and eat. Before we eat, we're going to stop by the expression section. We're going to do some paint by numbers and help finish this beautiful mural.
So I was going to be in section 8, but there were people there already. So I can paint 7 squares with my color. I chose this nice cherry green, which is also number 8. The problem is this section doesn't seem to have very many number 8 squares together. So I'm gonna have to really hunt, but that's okay. There's one. There's one. Now one of the nice things about this is you can pick up a little, sort of like a bookmark that tells you what your picture is going to look like at the end of the day if everybody gets their squares done. 2, 3, I get to do 7 squares. So that's 4. Let's see, where's another number 8? There's a lot of 5s, holy cow. There's one. And another.
I saw a number 5. Number 5.
Now frequently you have to do your squares more than once. There's plenty of paint to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 squares. This is actually covering pretty well though. Better than previous years. I think they've got a little bit thicker paint, which is nice. So, here in a bit, we will go see what our bookmark shows us. I was thinking about maybe not doing it since there was a little bit of a line, but one of the cast members said, you have a beret, you have to paint. So I told him, je parle français aussi, which I do a little. So if all the guests today do their jobs properly, we are creating a Mary Blair sort of mural. I like it. It's usually figment, but I really like the colors in that.
Our first stop on today's food adventure is going to be at the refreshment port. We're going to try some lobster poutine.
This is the Lobster Poutine. It's the special festival poutine available at the refreshment port just outside Canada, just on the other side of officially World Showcase. They always have some poutines at refreshment port, but then they'll have seasonal specials or festival specials. So the lobster poutine is French fries, of course, that's a poutine, with chunks of lobster and a lobster bisque cheese sauce. That's good. It would have been better hot, but it's so windy today. By the time we got over here to the UK, it's pretty cold already. And I know it was hot to start with, I could feel it. Now this does have some pickled jalapenos on it, which I am not going to eat. But I didn't ask for them without, just in case they add a little bit of extra flavor. You can see these are pretty good sized chunks of lobster in here. So, if you like lobster, this is pretty good.
That was pretty good. The lobster is quite tasty. It's not overdone or chewy. Now I took it with a big chunk of jalapeno, and let me tell you, you don't need to do that. That kind of overpowers the lobster and the French fries. By the time we got the French fries back here, they were a little cold. They would have been better hot. I don't know. I didn't test them, so I don't know how hot they were to start with, but I don't think they were scorching hot. So On a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give this a good 7 or an 8. Would I get it again? Yeah, I probably would. The next thing we're going to try is the Lemon Blood Orange Tart from Festival Favorites inside the World Showplace.
We decided to go ahead and get the Lemon Blood Orange Tart from Festival Favorites. We kind of went back and forth on it because we have so many things we want to try today, but we kept knocking out other desserty sort of things. So this is the first of what we hope will be 2 sweets. Got little white chocolate leaves on it. I'm not carrying my larger park bag, so I don't have the divider, but I think we're going to be okay. Well, that's interesting. It's actually hollow underneath there. So it's on like a little round shortbread cookie, a little donut. So let us see. The lemon is delightful. I don't know if you can see, but there's edible glitter all over the orange. The lemon comes through a little better than the orange. It may just be the lemon is brighter, but it's still very good. Definite orange, very nice together. I just got 1 blueberry on mine, but I bet it'll be delicious. And I love blueberry with citrus. It's very good, but I'm kind of glad they didn't put more on to make it like a citrus blueberry tart, because the citrus is so bright. It doesn't need the fresh blueberry really. It's fine, but it's not necessary. So definitely like this dessert. I do like a good citrus tart, and this is a good citrus tart. It's very pretty, so probably a 8 on presentation. Probably a 7 or 8 on flavor. It's very good. It's not amazing, and I think it's the orange is just not quite up to the level of the lemon, but it's very, very good anyway.
They call this a lemon blood orange tart. Well, it does have orange coloring on it, but I can't taste the orange at all. On the other side, the lemon is absolutely delicious. I enjoyed this tart. It's very, very pretty. It's kind of small. It goes for $6.50, and that's probably fair, but it's still a very small tart. So on flavor, I would probably give this an 8. It's really quite tasty. On presentation, an 8 or a 9. It's very, very pretty. Would I get this one again? I would. We just met some new friends here in Epcot.
So we're the Schneider family. We are actually somewhat local, and we're here enjoying the Festival of the Arts, just basically eating our way around the world. We're having a good time and looking forward to tasting all of the new tastes here.
Bon appetit.
One thing we definitely wanted to try was the blue corn pupusa from Vibrante y Vivido, which is the Mary Blair inspired booth. It's right between France and Morocco. Everything there is supposed to be very vibrant, very vivid, just like Mary Blair's colors. Unfortunately, the blue corn today is kind of steel gray, but it's still pretty. It's just not as pretty as we hoped. Now we'll see how it tastes. It's a little tough. Oh, it's a lot tough. Wow. The corn cake is a little tough, but the flavors are very good. Pulled pork is a little spicy too. At first I thought the corn cake was a little plain. It is a little tough still, but it looks like maybe they skillet fried it because the bottom is slightly crunchy. The slightly spicy pork, the pickled cabbage slaw. I think the only thing missing is a hint of sweetness. The corn cake maybe could have been a slightly sweeter cornmeal, and I kind of think that would have blended the flavors even better. But as it is, it's pretty good. I'd probably try and recreate this at home using a tortilla or something like that, because the corn cake is a little thick. It makes it doughy. But all in all, it's a really good blend of flavors. Just could have been kicked up a little bit more, I think. So presentation, if the corn cake had been blue, it would have been amazing. It would have been a 10. Since the corn cake kind of came out gray, I'm gonna have to drop it down to a 7. And probably the flavors too. It's good. It just is missing that extra little bit. Probably still get it again because maybe it's an off day. Certainly glad I got it, and now I have some ideas for some flavors to play with at home.
Well, this is pretty good. I like it a lot. I think it's attractive. The flavor kind of reminds me of a tamale. So, is it tasty? Yes, it is. Is it beautiful? I wish it had been blue corn instead of gray corn. So, but it's attractive. On a scale from 1 to 10 on presentation, I'd probably give it about a 6. On flavor, about the same. Would I get it again? Depends on what my choices were. It wasn't awful, but I wouldn't run right out and say, I've got to have that now. Next on our culinary trip around World Showcase, we're going to go to the Mosaic Canteen, and we're going to get a harissa roast rack of lamb. The Mosaic Canteen is located in Morocco near the Tangerine Cafe, which unfortunately is closed right now. This one's basically for me. Elizabeth doesn't like lamb, but I'm looking forward to it. This is supposed to have olives and preserved lemons. I've never had a preserved lemon. I'm not quite sure what it's like. I've certainly had olives before. The lamb itself, just looking at it, should be a little rarer, but it still looks okay. It was kind of tender when I cut it. It's very tender. The sauce on top is absolutely delicious. I think I'm going to enjoy this.
So what Art is trying here is from the Mosaic Canteen in Morocco. It's harissa roasted Morocco lamb with baba ganoush, pickling olives, toy box tomatoes, preserved lemons, and pomegranate. It looks like probably pomegranate is mostly in the sauce. If we find a preserved lemon, then we'll know it's not just in the sauce too. Definitely can see the olives and tomatoes.
This is delightful. I'm really enjoying it. The sauce is very flavorful. The lamb is quite good. It may be a little overdone, but it's certainly tender and delicious. Wow. I really enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite things that we've gotten here at this festival. The harissa sauce, I've never had that before. It's kind of a pepper sauce. It's delicious, it's sweet. It's got a little bit of heat to it, but not overpowering. The lamb was fabulous. The baba ganoush was good. I still have no idea what a preserved lemon is. I didn't see it, I didn't really taste it, but I don't know what I was looking for. On flavor, I would give this a 9, 9.5. On presentation, it was gorgeous. I'd give it a 9, 9.5 again. Would I get this? I'd really like another one, but I'm not going to today. The next things we're going to try are the red wine braised beef short rib from Cuisine Classique in Germany and a blueberry blonde ale from the Refreshment Outpost in Africa. We mostly got this one for me. This is the red wine braised beef short rib, and I think it looks great. So I'm ready to give it a try. Elizabeth will have some here in a second. But this is mostly for me. Ooh, it's very tender. I cut this with a knife. You could probably cut it with a fork. Oh, that's good. I can taste the red wine braise. It's subtle. This is really good. It's on top of some mashed parsnips. Give it a try. I like parsnips. This is absolutely delicious.
Red wine braised beef short rib with parsnip puree, broccolini, baby tomatoes, and aged balsamic. It's $8 at Cuisine Classique in Germany. And this one has been here before, so it might be a fairly regular festival offering. So I got my little fork full. Absolutely delicious. Tender, very tender. The parsnips and the aged balsamic add a lot of sweetness to it, but with the savory beef, a little bit of zip from the balsamic along with it. This is phenomenal. We're gonna have to try and make this at home sometime. Okay, this is the Playa Linda Brewing Company Blue Raspberry Blonde. I'm not usually into a blonde ale, they're too light, but I've heard the fruit and this is pretty good. It smells like beer. Oh, that's good. It is fruity enough, but it's not so sweet that it just becomes like a raspberry cider or something. Definitely can catch a little of the hops. It's light hopped, but it's I like this. Playa Linda it's out of Titusville, Florida, so it's mostly a local brewery. I hope they make this more times. I might be looking for this one.
I don't usually drink beer because I'm not a big fan of beer. I tasted this one. It's very light on the hops. It's not too bad. I don't really taste it to be any different than beer. It tastes like beer. So, would I get this again? No, because I don't drink beer.
So we stopped off at Pop Eats to pick up some almond frangipane cake. We've both been looking at that. That was one we both listed, so it's a shared item. We kind of wanted to try the French onion bacon grilled cheese sandwich with tomato soup, but it's a small enough portion. The price is pretty good, but it says it comes in a souvenir can. It's plastic, but a can. It's got comics like pop art all around it. They ran out of those weeks ago, so maybe next year. Now I adore almond and chocolate. I did have to look up the difference between frangipane and marzipan. Frangipane is an almond custard, so that should be very, very moist in here. The chocolate glaze is so forward that you don't get the almond until after. So I'm gonna try a piece here without the chocolate glaze. It's certainly very moist. It's pretty good. It's not amazing. So I have to keep at it and see what I think.
My first bite was from the end, and it was covered in delicious Belgian chocolate, but unfortunately that's all I could taste. My second bite, I got a little bit of everything. I could taste that delicious almond cake, the raspberry, the chocolate. It all went just great together. Wow, I really like this. I wish I could have eaten more than half of it, but Elizabeth got the other half. On presentation, it's absolutely gorgeous. We actually had somebody stop by our table as they walked by on the sidewalk and said, "Where did you get that?" So it is very pretty. For presentation, I give it a 10. For flavor, wow, it really goes. I'm giving everything a 10. This is a 10 and a 10. That adds up to 20, but they're still only 10 each. Would I get this again? I think I just told you.
Well, I thought it was good. I don't think it was quite as good as Art felt it was. I really, really like almond, so like I like marzipan, and the almond was such an undertone that the chocolate and the raspberry really took over. It still was delicious. It truly was delicious, but I think I would have liked maybe a little more almond. So I'm gonna give it a 10 on presentation. It's not just different colored layers, it's different colored blocks inside the layers. Beautiful, and probably a pain to make. But very, very pretty. I'm gonna give it an 8 on flavor. So still very high on the list. I would definitely get it again. Seems like a really, really good way to end our food time around this wonderful Festival of the Arts. Well, we have had a pretty good day. It's already getting crowded, which I guess for the last Sunday of a festival is probably the way it's gonna go.
It sure is. A lot of the food was very, very tasty.
Very good. We actually splurged a little bit today. We didn't get everything we wanted because that would have been crazy expensive. But we usually just get 1 or 2 treats each at the most. So today was a little bit special, but that's okay. We can do that sometimes. Today is not raining, so we actually get to see some of the chalk artists out. They are working and the chalk art is beautiful. So hope you enjoyed seeing that. That's always kind of a fun thing here at Festival of the Arts.
And with that said, I'm Art.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this is Our Life on the Go.